I am about to show you two indicators that work together like a precision targeting system for market tops and bottoms. One uses machine learning to adapt to every market condition automatically. The other combines 5 layers of analysis into one clean oscillator that spots exhaustion before it happens. And when you stack them together, the results are remarkable. Most traders miss reversals because they are either too early or too late. They chase momentum into exhaustion zones or panic sell right at the bottom. The two indicators I am breaking down today solve both problems. The first one learns from its own performance and adjusts itself over time. The second one shows you exactly when momentum is fading, even while price is still pushing higher or lower. By the end of this video, you will understand how the Machine Learning Supertrend identifies structural turning points, how the Artemis Oscillator confirms exhaustion with 5 independent signals, and most importantly, how to combine them for entries that catch tops and bottoms with exceptional accuracy. These are both free, open-source indicators on TradingView, and I am going to show you exactly how to use them. Let us get into it. But before we dive into these indicators, if you want to take your reversal trading to an entirely different level, you need to check out the Trade IQ Toolkit from ChartPrime. This is a complete trading system that gives you everything you need to identify high-probability setups before they happen. It combines advanced trend analysis, predictive signals, and automatic structure detection all in one powerful package. Everything integrates seamlessly into TradingView and works on every market. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Forex pairs, stocks, indices, you name it. You will get instant access to the full toolkit plus their private Discord community with daily market insights and weekly strategy sessions. The link is in the description. All right, now let us jump into these two powerful reversal indicators. The first indicator we are looking at is the Machine Learning Supertrend by Zymord. This is not your standard Supertrend indicator. This thing actually learns from its own performance and continuously adjusts its parameters based on what is working and what is not. At its core, this is a Supertrend foundation with adaptive intelligence. 3 systems run in parallel. The signal engine produces entry arrows. The background test matrix runs simulated trades to score performance. And the optimizer adjusts parameters based on results. The longer it runs, the better it gets. It operates in 2 modes. Reversal mode catches trend exhaustion when the supertrend flips. This is what we want for tops and bottoms. Breakout mode rides momentum for trend continuation. 3 adaptive layers work simultaneously. The global optimizer analyzes recent trade results and proposes parameter changes. The micro-batch processor groups results for faster adjustments. And the regime grid remembers what settings worked under similar market conditions. When volatility is high and trend strength is weak, it recalls the optimal bandwidth and look-back settings from the last time it saw those conditions. The most important setting in the entire indicator is bandwidth. This controls how wide the supertrend bands are. Lower values like 1.0 to 1.2 create tight bands that flip often. You get more signals but also more noise. Higher values like 2.0 to 3.0 only flip on large structural moves. Fewer signals but much stronger. For catching tops and bottoms, you want bandwidth between 1.4 and 2.0. This filters out minor pullbacks but still catches genuine exhaustion reversals. The second critical setting is look-back window. This determines how many bars back the indicator scans when detecting new highs and lows. Lower values react to minor swings. Higher values only react to major structural pivots. Default is 30, which works well for most markets. The reactivity dial controls how aggressively the adaptive engine responds to new information. A value of 1 is very conservative. 20 is extremely aggressive. Start at 10. If the market you are trading changes character frequently, raise it to 15. If the market is stable, lower it to 5 or 6. Here is what separates this from basic indicators. It includes automatic trade management. When a reversal signal fires, the indicator plots your entry price, stop loss, and take profit levels directly on the chart using ATR-based calculations. The levels adapt to current volatility automatically. It also has risk guards, maximum entries per session loss limits, pause mechanisms after losing trades, consecutive loss streak limits. All of this prevents you from overtrading into a reversal that does not materialize. The adaptive nature is key. Most indicators use fixed parameters that work in some conditions, but fail in others. This one adjusts continuously. When recent reversals required wider bands to avoid false signals, it widens them. When volatility drops and tighter bands improve performance, it tightens them. You get an indicator that optimizes itself for the current market regime. Let it run for at least 50 to 100 bars before evaluating performance. The learning layers need data to optimize. Once it has learned, use the export function to save the state. This way, if you reload the chart, it remembers what it learned instead of starting from scratch. Focus on the 4-hour and daily timeframes for structural reversals. Lower timeframes work, but you get more noise. Combine this with higher timeframe context. If the daily chart shows a strong uptrend and the 4-hour gives a reversal signal, be cautious. The best reversals occur when multiple timeframes align. Now let me show you the second piece of this reversal system, the Artemis Oscillator PRO by Ajabarov. This is a momentum oscillator built on a completely custom engine called Directional Range Momentum. Most oscillators like RSI measure price distance. The DRM engine measures the direction and force of range expansion. Range expanding upward creates positive force. Range expanding downward creates negative force. This gets normalized to 0 to 100, where 50 is neutral. Why does this matter? Because range expansion behavior changes at tops and bottoms. At a top, range expansion force weakens even as price makes new highs. At a bottom, range expansion shifts upward even while price declines. Early warning system. Layer 1 is the oscillator core with signal line crossovers marking momentum regime changes. Layer 2 is volume pressure using dual money flow index architecture. Fill areas show buying or selling pressure. At tops, price makes new highs, but volume pressure declines. At bottoms, price makes new lows, but volume pressure turns positive. Divergence signals. Layer 3 is momentum state scoring. From 0 to 3 based on oscillator position, signal line relationship, and volume pressure. At tops, the score drops from 3 to 1 even while price rallies. At bottoms, it climbs from 0 to 2 even while price falls. Layer 4 is divergence detection with the smart divergence filter. This eliminates about 70% of false divergences by checking minimum oscillator swing, minimum price swing percentage, and volume pressure confirmation. Only high-quality divergences pass. Layer 5 is the K&N machine learning bias panel displaying bull, bear, or neutral with confidence percentage based on historically similar market states. The indicator also fires exhaustion labels, OB for overbought exhaustion and OS for oversold exhaustion. These appear when the oscillator is inside an extreme zone but weakening consecutively. Specifically, the oscillator is above the overbought threshold and has closed lower for multiple bars in a row, or the oscillator is below the oversold threshold and has closed higher for multiple bars in a row. You can configure how many consecutive bars are required for confirmation. Default is 4. This is not predicting the reversal. It is marking the process of momentum fading in real time. When you see this label at a structural high or low, that is your signal that exhaustion is setting in. The combination of 5 independent confirmation layers is what makes this powerful. When you use these two indicators together, you get precision entries at tops and bottoms. Start with the Machine Learning Supertrend on the 4-hour chart. This is your structural reversal identifier. Wait for a reversal signal to fire. This tells you the supertrend bands have flipped, indicating a potential trend exhaustion. Now drop down to the 1-hour chart and load the Artemis Oscillator PRO. You are looking for 2 specific confirmations. First, the K&N bias panel must show the correct direction with at least 80% confidence. Second, there must be a divergent signal present. That is it. 2 simple but powerful confirmations. When the Machine Learning Supertrend identifies a structural shift and Artemis confirms with high confidence machine learning bias plus divergence, you have an extremely high probability reversal setup. Entry rules for shorts. Machine learning. Supertrend fires a sell signal in reversal mode on the 4-hour chart. Price is at or near a recent structural high. Artemis Oscillator K&N panel shows bear bias with at least 80% confidence. Artemis shows regular bearish divergence where price made a higher high, but the oscillator made a lower high. Enter short on the next candle open after both conditions align. Your stop loss goes just above the recent structural high. Your take profit targets the next major support level or the lower supertrend band. Entry rules for longs. Machine learning. Supertrend fires a buy signal in reversal mode on the 4-hour chart. Price is at or near a recent structural low. Artemis Oscillator K&N panel shows bull bias with at least 80% confidence. Artemis shows regular bullish divergence where price made a lower low but the oscillator made a higher low. Enter long on the next candle open after both conditions align. Your stop loss goes just below the recent structural low. Your take profit targets the next major resistance level or the upper supertrend band. The Machine Learning Supertrend gives you the big picture structural shift. It tells you when the trend itself is exhausting. But trend indicators can be early or late. That is where Artemis comes in with two critical filters. The divergence requirement ensures price action and momentum are misaligned, which is the classic signature of exhaustion. Price pushing to new extremes while the oscillator weakens or strengthens in the opposite direction. This is not a lagging signal. It is structural momentum breaking down in real time. The 80% KNN confidence requirement adds machine learning validation. The algorithm has scanned through its training history and determined that market conditions matching the current state led to the predicted outcome at least 80% of the time. You are not guessing. You are trading with statistical backing. Even with both indicators aligned, not every reversal works immediately. Markets can stay irrational. Use proper position sizing. Risk 1 to 2% of your account per trade maximum. Always use the stop loss levels. Do not move stops wider hoping for the trade to work. If you get stopped out, wait for the next signal. The beauty of this system is that it continuously scans for new setups. For swing trading and position trading, use the daily chart for the Machine Learning Supertrend and the 4-hour chart for Artemis confirmation. For day trading, use the 4-hour chart for Supertrend and the 1-hour chart for Artemis. For scalping, use the 1-hour for Supertrend and the 15-minute for Artemis. The key is maintaining the higher to lower time frame relationship. The Supertrend identifies the structural shift on a higher time frame. Artemis confirms momentum exhaustion on a lower time frame. This gives you precision timing. The Machine Learning Supertrend and Artemis Oscillator PRO are both completely free and open source on TradingView. You can load them right now and start testing this strategy. The Machine Learning Supertrend adapts to market conditions automatically. The longer you use it, the better it gets. The Artemis Oscillator gives you 5 independent layers of momentum analysis in one clean panel. Together, they form a reversal trading system that catches tops and bottoms with remarkable consistency. Start by loading both indicators and just observing them for a week or two. Do not take any real trades yet. Watch how the Supertrend signals align with Artemis confirmations. Notice how the 5-layer confluence works at major turning points. Get familiar with the visual language. Then move to paper trading. Take every setup that meets the criteria. Track your results over at least 20 trades. Calculate your win rate and average risk reward. Once you are consistently profitable in simulation, transition to live trading with small position sizes. Remember, reversal trading requires patience. You're waiting for structural exhaustion to be confirmed across multiple independent systems. That does not happen every day. But when it does, the reward-to-risk ratio is exceptional. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit that like button and subscribe for more indicator strategies and trading system breakdowns. Drop a comment and let me know if you have used either of these indicators before or if you plan to test this combination. I read every comment. Also, the link to the Trade IQ Toolkit is in the description if you want a complete professional trading system with multi-time frame analysis and automatic structure detection. Until next time, trade smart, wait for confluence, and let the tops and bottoms come to you. I will see you in the next video.